Welcome to my recap. This is game 8 of the match. Magnus is leading 1 point, and we had a Petrov here. Nepo again chose to play knight f6 here, to go for Petrov, but now Magnus doesn't go for knight e5, he goes for d4. Nepo took on e4, which is the main line, bishop d3, and now d5. And now it's also possible to go for d5, which is, I guess, the main line here. But knight d5 is played as well, which leads to a very symmetrical position. Knight d7 by Nepo, trying to exchange this knight from e5. Magnus takes, and now we have a pretty funny position. After bishop d2, bishop d6, we have all the pieces on the d file, white castles, and now if black tries to follow the symmetry by castling, now after queen h5 the d5 pawn would be under attack and black would be forced to play f5, but after bishop g5, queen e8, maybe queen f3 back, now the e5 square is pretty weak. The position would not be so pleasant for black. After c6, rook fe1, and after a move like queen g6, bishop f4, white would press in this position because of the e5 square, and also he's in control over the e-file. So instead, Nepo chose to play h5 here, and here there were lots of complex variations, like for example if white plays c4 to go for queen h4, and after g3 now black cannot capture on d4 because of bishop c3 and capturing on g7. And if black takes on c4, bishop c4, queen h4, in that case rook e1, king f8, now white has a nice move, queen f3, targeting f7, and if queen takes on h2, which is a very bad move, now king just steps away and now the f7 is impossible to hold. He went for queen e1 check. If black goes for queen e7, then probably he would just go bishop g5, forcing the trade and having maybe a slightly better endgame. And Nepo played king f8 because of that. And now Magnus plays bishop b4. That was the whole point of queen e1, to cover b4 and to be able to play bishop b4, exchanging bishops. Once you exchange on b4, the potential bishop endgame will be slightly better for white, because all these pawns will be on the light squares. But here Nepo chose to play queen e7 first, and bishop d6. Magnus is more ambitious. He doesn't want to capture on e7, which would lead to pretty dull endgame. After this, rook fe1, king d6, h4. White is slightly better, but black can simply exchange rooks on the e-file and make his life much easier. So instead he goes for bishop d6, queen d6, and now queen d2. By Magnus, rook e8, and now rook e1. Black's problem here is that his rook on h8 is not working, and it's ruining the harmony of black pieces. And now he went for rook h6. It was also possible to go for rook e1 and on rook takes to go g6 and king g7 next. And for example, if white tried with h4 to stop h4 from black, now black has time for king g7 and rook e8. In case of queen g5, rook e8, and black should be slightly worse, but still okay. He will be able to hold this. But instead he went for rook h6, trying to employ his rook via 6th rank. Now queen g5. Nepo plays c6, and he took on e8. Bishop takes, and now rook e1. Now it's not really good to play rook e6 because h5 pawn is hanging in the end, so went for queen f6 instead. And now Magnus goes back to e3, doesn't want to exchange queens. Bishop d7, saving the bishop, and now h3 first. Making some space for the king, h4, trying to fix the pawns on the king side, and now c4. Magnus decides to be ambitious and he plays for c4. Now he's making a weakness on d4, but He's hoping that black's king will be so weak, so passive, that this would compensate for the d4 weakness. Nepo took, logically, and now bishop c4, and this was the critical moment of the game. Now black plays b5. It was better either to go queen d6 or king g8. After queen d6, king b3 would be slightly unpleasant, and after b5, bishop takes f7. Now queen d4 is not possible because of rook d1, and now the bishop on d7 will be hanging. You would have to go for something like queen f4, but even after that, this endgame after queen a3, queen d6, bishop b3, takes looks better for white. He's a pawn up, he has a slightly worse pawn structure, but I think white has good chances here. Also, a good move is king g8 here, and if queen e7 to get to the 7th rank and to target the f7 pawn, now black would capture, rook e7, and now rook d6, counter-attacking the d4 pawn, and of course bishop f7 is not possible because of king f8 and losing the bishop. And if rook f7, then you don't take on d4 because of some discovered check like rook f4. Instead you go just king h7, and in the end you will pick up this pawn on d4. If rook f4, then g5, I suppose, and after rook e4 to go bishop f5, and I think black has a decent compensation here. Instead he went for b5, and now he blundered the a7 pawn without any compensation. Queen a3, king g8, and now he lost his pawn. If bc, then queen takes d7, so he went back with his queen d8. In this position I think that bishop h3 was a very nice try, but even then I think queen f7, queen takes, rook e8, and after this white is a pawn up, and this position will be very hard to defend. But still it offers much more resistance than what happened in the game. He went for queen d8, and now black is simply totally passive. Bishop b3 back, keeping control over f7, and now rook d6. Rook e4, now white wants to go to f4 to target f7, and now bishop e6. Black wanted just to exchange his bad bishop for a good bishop on b3, but maybe something better was to go rook f6 here. Again, to somehow stop this rook f4 and without exchanging pieces, but still, after queen c5, white would have tremendous pressure. With queen e7 next, I suppose, and he's a pawn up and he has a better position, so that's that. Instead he went for this ending, bishop e6, rook e6, and he was hoping that he could create some counterplay with his queen, but Magnus played this endgame perfectly, queen c5, and now he tried not to defend passively, because if he tries something like this, then white will just push b3, a4, and just win easily with his a-pass pawn. Instead he went for queen a5, trying to deliver some checks. Magnus took, queen e1, king h2, and now he took on e6 even. And now the only concern of white is to avoid perpetual. Queen e4 first. He went for b3 first. Check on g3 is nothing because white can always get to g1. Black took on a2. Now he gave a check, took on b5, and now he has two passed pawns. After which Jan went for queen f2, but queen e5 just covers the diagonal nicely. And after queen b2, queen e4, and now he's defending all the pawns. He doesn't want to capture h4 because 2 versus 1 is not really useful. Now queen f2, and now queen c3. Queen f4, king g1, king h7, and now check. Queen d1. This is very nice. He covers everything, every single check. Now he's ready to push his pawn on d5, and also the b pawn is ready to run. There are no checks. Now Jan tried this check, king h1, g5. Now white starts pushing. Now black's only chance is to go for g4, and in case of queen g4 to deliver some checks. So he took on g4, and after h3, now Magnus played queen f3, and in this position Jan resigned because he is going to be 3 pawns down. He's not able to deliver perpetual checks, which means that White's d pawn is going to decide the game. That's it. If you have any questions about the game, please let me know in the comment section. I will be ready to answer you, and thank you so much again, and see you later. Bye.